You and I went over to a meeting. I brought my camera, and it was a meeting about the Uber people. The Uber people are in town.
Right, Uber ride service. Or
Uber ride service. And they were very nice, but they said that it was a private meeting and it wasn't for us to tape or to interview them.
RSVP only for people that are in their pipeline, as they described.
Okay. And because I couldn't stay, you had showed interest in possibly being an Uber driver, and you stayed. You filled out the paperwork that they asked you to fill out.
I went through their application process.
And okay, so you stayed, and you've got some information for us, a little bit, right, about the Uber process. First of all, what is an Uber driver?
Well, they have to have a car that complies with their regulations, which it needs to be 2000 or newer, and it has to have 4 doors.
Okay.
And basically, it's an online application where people that are looking for rides can, log into their Uber application and find out if there are drivers available, and they can get a ride with an Uber driver. I understand that it's competitive with island taxi drivers, and so I have no interest in getting into that venue here, although I do drive from the Cape to Boston, New Hampshire, or Maine on occasion. So if I were an Uber driver, say in Massachusetts, then if I were driving to Boston, I could potentially give someone a ride to the airport
and make some money.
Sure. So I'm entertaining that possibility, and they do.
And is that something that you could do?
I could do. Yeah, I have a car on the Cape that's
Would they
newer than
allow
2000.
you? I thought you had to be in like a certain town, to be an Uber driver. You can do long distance driving.
It's
too?
by state.
It's by state.
Yes, and also a ride can originate in one state and go to another state, but once you get out of your home state, you can't field another potential ride. They have to originate from the state where you're an approved Uber driver.
All right, so what's the deal?
Well, basically, they do require drivers to fill out an application form and go through a background check. So I did actually give them an email address and my name and phone number, and then after that initial application, then I went through a background check process, which basically was just filling out a short form with my social security number. And I assume that's just so they can, it's basically a sexual offender, background check, that kind of thing, make sure the drivers aren't convicted of felonies, that basic kind of stuff. And it was a very simple application process.
And so what's the deal? How does it work? If you're a driver, how much money can you make? Is it based on what taxis charge?
What their rate is $1.20 per mile and 21 cents a minute. And it's the combination of the two, and Uber takes 20% off of that. So the driver gets what's left after that ratio.
And how are you paid?
And it's basically a credit card. I expect it's similar to PayPal.
Okay.
So there's no cash transaction.
Bitcoin.
I'm not familiar with Bitcoin.
You're kidding. You don't know Bitcoin?
No, I'm not familiar with Bitcoin.
Okay, I'll explain it later.
But I mean, it's like it's a credit card thing.
Yeah,
where
got it. You use a credit card.
Yeah, through a phone application.
I see. All right, so that's how you get paid. And I know from speaking with them that they are here on Nantucket. They're on Martha's Vineyard. Yesterday they were on the Cape.
Right.
So I think
they're just trying to get started around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're looking. It seemed to me as though they're basically holding a open forum for prospective drivers, people that are interested in driving for Uber.
Did they give you any more contact details on how to become a driver?
And they have they have their website, and the application process was basically very straightforward. So I just went through the process. So I received back a confirmation text, and then I'm in the process of going through a background check. So now it's just a matter of a couple subsequent emails, I guess, and they're going to run my name and information through the state system and find out if I qualify, and then I could very
How's
potentially
insurance
be.
work, though? How does that all work?
And that's part of it. I expect that the driver needs to be insured to have to
You didn't
provide
you didn't
valid.
get that information. Don't they supply the insurance? Okay. Well, Jim, anything else that people should know about this process?
It's all new to me. I know it's obviously a newer.
Do you know where the word comes
company.
from? Uber?
Uber is a German word which means over. And I have a
Over.
friend whose wife is German, and so he's always getting German from her. And he says in this case he thinks it means superior.
The superior, huh?
Yeah.
Service. Okay. Well, listen. Thanks so much for sharing what you did, and hopefully at some point we'll hear from one of the taxi.
Sure.
Group.
I know that they're not particularly excited about the idea of Uber being on
Oh.
the island.